Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. It's your boy Kevin Thornton. You have tuned in to the Wellness Architect Show live from Manifest TV. Today is Monday, August 27th, and it's been a bright, sunny day in Atlanta, and we
Hot
got
outside.
very hot outside. And we got an amazing show today about sugar. I got a great co-host. I'm gonna talk more about her in a minute. But if you want to be part of the show, please call in at 470-251-4647. Once again, 470-251-4647. You can share my Facebook Live post to all my Facebook friends. Watch us on YouTube under Manifest TV. If you are on Instagram, you can follow us on the Instagram Live, manifesttv.status. So just share us and enjoy the show. So today we're talking about sugar with my great esteemed co-host, Miss Erica Daniels. How you doing, ma'am?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm amazing. So for those who don't know, Erica came on my show last month and co-hosted, and she made an amazing show as we talked about a lot of different things regarding aromatherapy, numerology, all that kind of stuff. And we got a great amount of great feedback from you guys about that show. I enjoyed the dynamics and the energy of that show, and so I asked her to come back on. So today is just going to be me and her talking about sugar, and this is the build up for our next show, which is going to be in September, where she's going to come back on. And can you give a prelude of what's going to be in store for next month's show?
Well, I've been working with a nutritionist slash chiropractor, and I felt as though it was important to, kind of put people onto this process to keep the purpose of it is to keep the balance, keep the body in balance. Mm-hmm. And so your nutritional intake is imperative in order to do that.
Exactly.
And so we need to know which of our systems, whether it's our digestive system, our endocrine system,
our adrenals,
is working properly or with the proper amount of functioning.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need energy to do that. You need to feed your body the proper energy, and you need to know what to address. So It's basically an introduction to that. Today is about sugar in its many forms and how it affects your body, because I think with working on my own nutritional balance and working with my own sensitivities, I found out I have a gluten sensitivity. I mean, who doesn't, right?
Right.
And just researching on that, mm-hmm. and then working with that, it's just the sugar just kept rearing its ugly head.
Yep.
So I mean, with things that you think it has absolutely nothing to do with, it has
sugar is pretty much in everything.
Yeah, it's a major component.
So many any issues. Processed food that you partake in has sugar in it in some way or form. They just disguise sugar through different names. Mm-hmm. And if you Google sugar in foods, you can see an article that shows 56 different ways that sugar is in food or processed foods or any kind of way, and the different names that's used to disguise the sugar. So let's you start it off, ma'am.
Okay. Well, we're just going to talk about some of the basic types. We're not going to go through all 56. We're going to talk about your monosaccharides, which are fructose and glucose. Fructose is found in fruit and honey.
Yep.
And glucose is a major component in your carbohydrates. Mm-hmm. So it's your cells and your muscles' preferred source of fuel. Mm-hmm. So those are your monosaccharides. You kind of want to stick with those. Mm-hmm. You can overeat, or you can have too many fruits. It is such a thing as, just fructose overload. And then you have your fructose glucose bonded together to make a disaccharide, which is sucrose, mm-hmm. which is table sugar, or regular refined sugar. Right. And you also have galactose, which is another monosaccharide, another basic sugar, and that's found in dairy products and cheese. So if you have to have some dairy, I would keep that on a minimum too. But
Exactly, because that's a whole another
it
conversation.
attracts mucus.
Yes.
Mucus holds on to all types of bacteria. It contributes to a lot of allergies.
Right.
A lot of allergy issues.
I think people don't really realize how dangerous and addictive sugar is.
Oh yeah, it's more addictive than cocaine.
Exactly, because it was the test that was done where they had mice that was addicted to cocaine, and they gave them the choice to either get the cocaine or the sugar, and they went to the sugar.
They wanted the sugar. Yes, it's real. Like, we're not saying that this is not something that you could just easily. It takes time. It probably takes years to adopt a low glycemic index
Lifestyle.
Yeah. It takes a while. It takes a while.
And I think if we
one
just-
meal at a time.
And I think if we just change our words, how we see things, it won't be as hard for us. I think we look at diet, and we say diet all the time, and diet means you gotta do without instead of creating a lifestyle. So if if it's creating a lifestyle, then that lifestyle is part of what you do, who you are. So you're not looking at it as if I'm lacking anything or I gotta go without anything. And I think that switch the mindset will help in the transition of trying to cut back in the sugar and all that kind of stuff. So
I think what also helps is knowing where you stand.
right.
As far as like I said, when I took the nutritional response test, is what we're going to talk about next month. You got to know where you stand to know where you're going. And so for me to making the connection helps me override some of those cravings, some of those things that you want to go to, that the junk food, the candy, the fast food. It's easy, right? So making the connection for me, know that I need to work on my adrenals, so I need to take certain foods to address that.
Right.
And knowing that coffee kind of wears them out, but I do like coffee. I love soda pop, and I'm about to disrespect soda pop right now, but I was addicted to it for so long. I mean, I have a sensitive digestive system, and I would drink Coke or ginger ale to settle my stomach, not even realizing that it was one of the contributing factors to why my stomach was messed up in the first place.
Right.
So, and then you don't realize this until you've done this for a while, and then you got other health issues that arise from it.
Right.
And your doctor's really not going to make that connection, which is why today, I'm not a doctor, you know what I'm saying? I do health research. I've been doing it over 10 years.
Right. She's a health researcher, and I'm a holistic health coach, and
But a chemist by trade. Let me say that I am a scientist by trade.
Right.
I do health research.
And I think if you say, well, we put the disclaimer, we're not doctors, but the doctors
don't get nutritional.
don't take nutrition at all. So I have more, knowledge about nutrition than a doctor does, because a doctor does not take not 1 ounce of nutrition. Now
they take less than, I think, 20 hours in the 8 years that they're.
I had talked to a chiropractor, and they are required to take some, but he was saying that the doctors are not required.
Right, it's not a requirement; it's suggested.
And so they're not going to be able to tell you the true information that you may need.
Right.
That's why a health researcher, a health coach is needed, because that's what we focus on is the nutritional value of what you could do to help naturally help your in your weight loss, try to reverse diseases that can be reversed. And I know we're going to talk a lot about diabetes as well, right? So,
of course, right. But I think people automatically relate diabetes to sugar, and it's much more than that.
Right.
It's a process. It's a process, and it didn't happen overnight, so it's not going to fix itself overnight.
Okay.
It's a process. It took you a minute to get there, and it's gonna take you a minute to get back. I mean,
Right.
if you so choose, if you go on a what do you call that? Just all in, all out, and cold turkey, you
Right.
might see some results within a year.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah. Some of my clients, they see the initial change within the first 10 days because I have them do raw vegan
Yeah.
cleanse.
Oh, yeah.
And during that 10-day raw vegan cleanse, they do not have any sugar whatsoever, which includes alcohol because alcohol turns into sugar.
Yeah, liquor is nothing but sugar.
Right. And so they see everything drop. Their sugar levels is at normal pace. Their blood pressure drops, all that kind of stuff.
Right, because all of this has to do with each other. We're going to make that connection as well.
Exactly. So, so that during that 10 days, it clicks to them. They realize that, it's what you eat truly determines how you're going to be. And it was funny because the one guy who did it, he lost 12 pounds, but he said more importantly, he felt he had more energy.
Yeah.
And that, his skin cleared up and all that kind of stuff. And then, the lower part of his stomach had dropped because he was going to the bathroom more regularly, stuff like that. And so it was like you have to cut the sugar, because if you cut the sugar, we ain't gonna tell you completely out because that's
right.
hard.
It's just, it is possible, but you have to be a fanatic, is what I was
Right.
gonna say. Like you really have to be
But if you just
OCD
cut it,
about it.
if you just cut the amount of sugar that you're taking in, it will help. Because even when I was, before I became the wellness architect and I was a bigger dude, one of the things that, when I was losing weight, that I had to do was when I was eating clean, if I knew I was going to go out, I knew and I was going to have a couple drinks, I had to increase my water intake because the drinks is going to be sugar, and so you want to be able to flush that out.
Yeah.
Oh, then he also told me, okay, for every drink that you have 2 glasses of water while you're there.
That makes sense.
And so because
You drink less like that too.
exactly. So what's your next thing you want to go
Oh,
into?
okay. So we could get into the fructose glucose bonded together, which creates sucrose, which is table sugar, and then you have your fructose glucose syrup, which
Right.
is what is it? High fructose corn syrup.
Right.
And high fructose corn syrup is just it's in a lot of your sugary drinks, as we said. It's in a lot of stuff.
Right.
You can look in gum and see high fructose
Right.
corn syrup. So but it is a dangerous chemical that was created in a lab, and it is known to have a lot of mercury in it, which is highly toxic. I think it reduces leptin, which makes you feel full. It pulls minerals out of your kidneys. So it's just kind of something that you want to be aware of.
Right.
To definitely minimize. And a lot of children
Exactly.
drink a lot of this stuff. Take a lot of this stuff in.
And that's why you have the increased influx of childhood obesity and diabetes, because all the stuff that is everything they eat and everything they do, and so if you eat, the influx of all that's gonna make them have diabetes at an earlier age.
Yeah.
One of the things I think people get confused on or think they're doing something better is if they say they'll buy a Diet Coke.
Okay, right. We need to get in that too. So your 0-calorie sweeteners are another type of sugar that's out there, and these are pesticides.
Right.
The pink packet is organochlorine, which is in the same family, a chemical family, as DDT. They discovered it while trying to create a pesticide. So the first thing you want to stay away from are the pink packets from your coffee, the artificial sweeteners.
Right.
these are dangerous.
Right.
Aspartame, how do we say it?
Aspartame.
Aspartame. Aspartame is also
Right.
something that you want to be aware of
And that's
and
in
try
most.
to
And that's in most
reduce
of the
Diet Cokes.
Diet Cokes.
And aspartame
Mm-hmm.
breaks down into formaldehyde at around 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And we all know that our bodies are 98.
Right.
So you're essentially
Having formaldehyde.
swallowing a chemical,
Right.
a very dangerous one.
Yes, ma'am. And so you thinking you're doing something good by saying I'm gonna get a Diet Coke, but actually you're not really helping yourself at none at all.
Not at all.
You know, you actually really hurting yourself. And it's been, really broadcast today. You want to stay away from aspartame, and so you really want to look at especially all the diet drinks, and see if that's in. If it's in it, you don't want to drink it. So,
And I've even seen Diet Coke that has aspartame free on the label. So if you have to have your Diet Coke, look for that.
right. That's I completely agree. So, what about the coconut sugars, the beet sugars?
Your alternative sugars, you have they're creating even more and more as more people are educated about the effects of sugar. So you have your xylitol, which is a wood alcohol. It's in a lot of. It's also a sweetener. It protects dental enamel. What sweetener does that?
Right.
It's in a lot of natural toothpastes, but you can also buy it at a health food store. You have your beet sugar, you have your date sugar,
Right.
you have stevia, you have your raw sugar.
Right. Now the beet sugar, the date sugar, and the coconut sugar, you hear a lot of you're on with What Else Architect Show. Hello.
I'm sorry. Yes. Can I speak to Kevin? I know he's online.
This is Kevin.
Kevin, I'm glad that I get you because I tried to call you earlier, and I just found your show. I have no idea, and I'm listening to you, and I don't even know. I'm sorry, that lady's name.
Hi.
Erica. Erica.
I'm a CEO of the company called Hydro One Premium Beverages, and I love what you guys are doing.
Thank
We
you.
spend millions of dollars in the last 10 years. I put the best team of doctors and scientists from around the world. And if you guys can, I know you're on air. If you guys can go to my website, you're going to be shocked what we've done. We are the only company in the world. I've heard you guys talking about aspartame, sucralose, the pink ball, and obviously, unfortunately, a lot of people, they don't even know that.
What's your website again, sir? What's the website again?
www.hydro1, HYDROONE, beverages.com.
Okay.
I apologize. What's her name? I need
Erica.
your name.
Erica. My name is Erica.
Erica, I love to watch you guys.
Thank you.
And I love, again, to send you guys a sample. And I'll tell you what I've done. One of my scientists is one of the youngest African-American, Dr. Mark Field. Right now he's at Yale University.
Okay.
I have another partner of mine, Dr. Babon. He's an immunologist. And he has 163 theses written about cancer, sugar, diabetes, and all that. So
we have your website up. We have your website up so that the people can
great to
see
hear
it.
that.
Yes. Hydro One.
If you look, thank you, ma'am. If you just look at our team, you're going to be very impressed what I put together. These are some of the most talented scientists and doctors that I put together. By the way, we are the only company in the world. I love to be on your show. We are the only company in the world that designed a U.S. patented products for a diabetic.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I have two sugar-free products that they won the highest award in the world for products that we do not use any sugar or artificial color and artificial flavors.
Wow.
I have been in every show you can imagine. I've been in NBC, Fox channel in my area, NPR, North and South. And I just wish that we knew about you guys more. And then I will find out about you guys. So that's what I tried to call earlier, and it went to There was nobody there to answer because I just didn't want to interrupt your show.
Oh, no worries.
Well, we're gonna be in touch with you, and we're gonna get your information,
Right.
and we're definitely would love to have you on the
I'd
show.
love to have you on the show, and we would love to try a sample so we could promote it for you as well.
Well, I appreciate that. Again, our goal is we have over 90 million Americans. They're pre-diabetic and diabetic.
Yep.
Right.
And I am so disappointed, and I'm even ashamed to say, unfortunately, 1 out of 4 African American women they have diabetes.
Yeah.
Correct.
1 out of 7 African American men has diabetes.
Correct.
That's a lot.
And where are you guys based? Where is your show from?
Atlanta.
Okay. Well, I have many accounts in Atlanta. They sell our products, so it's not about. I'm not worried about the sell part of it. I would be more than happy. As a matter of fact, you all know Jamie Duke, the former NFL player.
I do.
Exactly. They used to have a show, Ask a Fat Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that show? I was there. Jamie and Dr. Braxton Cosby. That's another person that I would love to come to your show. He knows our products from inside out, and that's Bill Cosby's nephew.
Okay.
He's in Atlanta. They're all in Atlanta.
Okay.
They're partner in my company. So I don't pay a celebrity. These are all celebrities that they love what we do because they all have a member in their family struggling. We have a product for diabetics. We have products for high blood pressure. We have products for people that have high cholesterol, memory problem. So we have all kind of healthy products. And I can't wait for you guys to taste them.
Yes.
They're not just drinks. You're gonna love it. It's a what you call it, changing lifestyle. And I
Yes,
love the way
yes.
you guys are talking about diet. I hate it when I love the way you describe the word diet.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst thing. That's what I'm gonna be honest with you. I came to this country 45 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lady that you guys know personally by first name.
Mm-hmm.
She made over $1 billion from all of us. Tried to sell us stuff from her show or from her contact about diet or weight loss. And you all know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came to this country, she was overweight. I don't want to say fat.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still overweight.
Yeah.
So you
That's
know who
true.
I'm talking about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So these people, I hate to say that, they're not helping our culture.
No.
I'm fighting with the school system right now. Our school
Absolutely.
system, you guys just mentioned the word diet. Our school system took the Coke or Pepsi with the sugar out of our school. Guess what they leave for our children to drink?
What?
Aspartame.
Right.
Aspartame is by far, people that don't have any clue what aspartame does to your body. We study all this. Aspartame gets in your body, first of all, it triggers your sugar part. So you're constantly feeling, when you drink diet, there's not many people, they drink diet and lose weight.
Yeah.
Right.
Most likely you gain weight because you're constantly eating.
Right.
And unfortunately, and by the way, Coke or Pepsi, they're very, very smart. I know them from I know the leader there. I met with them. So they're very intelligent. Now, they even have another name for aspartame. All right? So people, they don't realize, but it's exact the same thing. It does exact thing to your body, like a sucralose does.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, they say, okay, it's not aspartame in there. No, it is an aspartame. They just changed the name.
Wow.
So what's the name?
So I love what you guys are doing.
So what's the name that
I
they
think
changed it to?
I'm sorry?
Sucrose.
I don't want to mislead it. Sucralose is one of them.
Okay.
Sucralose.
Sucralose.
It's a very similar thing
Yes.
to the aspartame.
Okay.
And I love what you just said about the pink bot. And you know what the Splendid, you know what, most of our products are made with stevia. But there's a huge difference between the stevia that we use than you buy it in a market. For example, you go to Whole Foods or Fresh Market in your area, the stevia that you buy, let's say for $30, I'm just saying that, $30. $30 you buy a box of stevia. The same amount of stevia, I pay $280.
Wow.
Because the stevia that I use, I have a patent for it. Because it's designed to regulate the diabetics with their sugar. They call it cinnamon PF, which is commonly known as a cinnamon extract, which is the best thing you can put in your body.
Okay.
So, again, this is my cell number. I love for you. Again, I have your number, Kevin,
Okay.
and I can contact you tomorrow, and I would love to send you guys some samples. I would love to educate your what you call not
Audience.
educate,
Yes.
inform your audience
Okay.
because we got to get our country back,
Yeah.
Yes,
guys.
sir.
We are the heaviest, most obese country in the world. I travel all over the world, and this is sad that nobody in an office upstairs in New York or Washington, whatever, they don't care. They look like they do not care. Individual like you guys, you care more for those children than those people that are
Absolutely.
making millions and millions of dollars. But unfortunately, like I said, we don't have enough voices. But we're not going to quit.
Yes, sir. We just starting.
Oh yeah, and the trend is going to change. As a matter of fact, it's not in the market yet. My team designed the first probiotic and CBD beverages in the
Wow.
world. The first CBD and probiotic beverages that is going to help even cancer, Alzheimer's, autism, inflammation, and it's even safe for athletes. They can drink it all day. They don't have to worry about missing or losing any game because they're in a urine test. So these
Okay.
are the stuff we're working on.
Okay.
So
I would love to have
Well,
you. I would love to have you or Dr. Braxton Cosby on the show. 'Cause I know he's in Atlanta, so I would love to have either one of you guys on the show so we can talk more about it and really
Okay.
educate our listeners.
Yeah, and inform them about what's out there and what is available to them that's going to help them.
Right.
Exactly. And then again, I'm not calling to sell our products, but it's good to know that people they have an option. We designed the first Gatorade and Powerade, all natural.
Wow.
There's never been the actual regular Gatorade. As a matter of fact, I don't know. I know you guys don't have it, but if you look at the simple 16-ounce soda, when you get a chance, this is what I want to educate people or give information to people. If you look at a 16-ounce, regular Mountain Dew, it has 23 package of sugar because each package only weighs 3 grams. So if an average person, which in South Carolina or South, the highest selling item is Mountain Dew.
Wow.
So if you're drinking one Mountain Dew a day, that's 804 package of sugar a month. 804 pack, 8,900 calories. So I take people's challenge, and I love to come to your show. For 11 years, I have never lost to. I have individuals that have never even seen a treadmill. I take their challenge to lose between 25 to 50 pounds a year. And we give them a direction how to use our products and how to make a meal out of them, how to make a snack for themselves, how to make a smoothie. And I will send you, tomorrow when we get a chance to talk to each other, I need your email, or I'll send you an email. I don't know if this is your cell number, but anyway, I will send you some testimony, and you'll be surprised that an individual, I put him on my products within 3 months. After 21 years taking a blood pressure medicine, doctor took her off. After 21 years taking a blood
Wow.
pressure medicine.
That's serious.
We're a country of medicine. We're a country of medicine.
Yes, sir.
That's why those pharmaceutical is killing Americans.
Yeah. And we spend
And
the
I'm
most
so
on
proud
it.
what you guys are doing. I'm sorry?
No, I said we spend the most on pharmaceuticals, and we are the sickest.
Exactly. I mean, you can't tax them. As a matter of fact, I don't want to say on the air, but there is one product they sell, which is the Pfizer, is the highest selling item. But what it does to the man, they sell the next item the highest, and you all know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That's what they do. You take that medicine, it's fine for the woman, but it's not good for the man. That's why they sell a 17-cent pill for $7, $8. 17 cents it cost him to make it. But hey, so
Wow.
I definitely love to have an opportunity to talk to you guys.
Absolutely.
And again, tomorrow I will, when you get a chance, this is my cell number.
Okay.
You're welcome to call me. I'm Sammy. You see my name there. I'm the CEO of the company. If you go to our site, you'll see the management team.
Okay.
And again, I love to talk to you guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations what you guys are doing.
Thank
We
you.
Thank you
need
so
Thank you so
much.
thousands
much.
show like yours.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
We, oh, my pleasure, guys. You all have a great evening.
You
do.
too.
Thank you for calling. Thank you so much for calling and introducing us to your products.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Well, we couldn't have planned that better.
Exactly.
That was exciting. So now we know that there's companies out here who are serious about making a difference.
Right.
And all you have to do is say something about it, right?
Exactly.
And talk about it. And why is this so important is because how the body metabolizes, or its inability to
Right.
metabolize these synthetic sugars that is in everything that you have. I mean, everything that, you know what I'm saying, that's commercial.
Right.
When you go to your commercial, this mass production of food, they have to find a way to preserve this.
Right.
They have to sell it because it is so much, so they have to make it taste good.
Right.
And so they just load it with all of these things and douse it in sugar, and you'll eat it because it tastes good.
Exactly. And so that's why, it's good to make, if you can, make your own salad dressings because
Yeah.
most of the salad
Vinaigrettes.
dressings has a lot of sugar.
A high in fructose. Your ketchups
Yes.
are high in fructose, so you want to look for your more organic ketchups. But the thing about it is that once you inundate the body with these sugars, well, you're sending the liver and the pancreas into overdrive, right? So the liver really doesn't have any use for fructose, but it goes straight to the liver, right? And so it has a hard time metabolizing, so it has to convert it, right? And so then the pancreas, because there's so much sugar in the system, the pancreas releases insulin, and the insulin is what puts the sugar into the cells, feeds the sugar into the cells.
Right.
So we said that glucose is your cell's preferred fuel source. Well, if it's so much fructose in your system, it doesn't really have any use for it. So it pushes it into the fat cells and it pushes it into the muscles. And so now you even have lower blood sugar than you did before you took the sugary snack.
Right.
The lower blood sugar is hypoglycemia. Okay, so now once you have hypoglycemia, the binges start, the cravings start, and then you start the cycle all over again, which is what contributes to the obesity, is because insulin turns on the fat cells. It prepares the fat cells to store, because
Right.
what is it going to do with the extra calories? It's going to give it to your fat cells. It also causes fatty liver as well. Elevated levels of insulin contribute to, not only do you have hypoglycemia, right? So you have a bad mood.
Right.
Then we're doing this all over again. It also stimulates the kidneys to hold on to sodium and water. Once you have the low blood sugar again, it stimulates the adrenals,
Right.
stimulates the nervous system, increases the heart rate, constricts the blood vessels. So now you have hypertension, which is it raises the blood pressure.
Exactly.
So it's having the kidneys hold on to the salt, because it acts as an opposite of a diuretic. So insulin is the opposite of a diuretic. It suppresses urine release. It stimulates the kidneys to hold on to the sodium and the water, and then we stimulate the adrenals.
Exactly.
So we're wearing them out, and then we contribute to. That's how it contributes to hypertension.
Exactly. And it's either you could talk to me or her, and it's foods that you could eat that is good for each of the glands or each of those major organs. And so that's what we need you guys to become more aware of, is what foods you need to incorporate into your system to help different parts, whether it's the adrenal glands, it's the
Right.
kidneys, it's the liver, it's the pancreas.
Because all of these are so very important, because it's your filtration system.
Right.
You clean out, you recycle the trash out of your computer. You have to move some of the data off of your phone. You know this, but you have to do it for your body.
Exactly, and then because detox has become that the new hot word now that everybody want to use, but it's using it for the wrong reason for a lot of times. That everybody looking for a detox as a way to lose weight quick, but the real reason for a detox or a cleanse is that it allows your body to rest.
Right. Because while the liver is addressing the fructose issues, it's not addressing what it's meant to do.
Right.
Which is filter out toxins.
Right.
So it's busy. It's tied up
Exactly.
and trying to deal with this blood sugar level, because the
Exactly.
body's whole purpose is to maintain equilibrium. Why is blood sugar at an equilibrium or a balanced level important? Because, well, it feeds your cells. You need that, right? But the brain feeds completely off of blood sugar. So it needs it to be at an equilibrium for cognitive functioning.
Right.
Which is where we come in with the Alzheimer's, right? So high levels of insulin create insulin resistance, and insulin resistance is the precursor to diabetes.
Right.
The longer you have diabetes, the more likely or your greater chances of getting Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Yep.
Because of the blood sugar level and the fact that your brain feeds off of the blood sugar. So if it's the levels are out of whack, that's what you're feeding your brain, then you're going to affect its cognitive functioning after so many years.
Right.
But years go by fast because you create habits, and so these habits, you have to try to create new ones.
Exactly. So, when people who are diabetic, because that's one of the key people who have a lot of those issues, and they don't try to address the issue, they just basically strictly go on. They don't change the diet, but they still on their medicine, and then from that point it gets worse to where you get kidney failure.
Right. And this is why, because we made this connection. All of this, that is a real threat, because once the kidneys shut down,
Right.
then you're unable to eliminate waste.
Exactly. But all that can be reversed as well. But you gotta first work on reversing the diabetes and the high blood pressure. Because once you do that, and then you can focus on getting the kidneys to work back up to par. But in order to do that, you gotta get the diabetes and the high blood pressure in check. And so, my thing is that take all the information that Eric and I are giving today. Take the information that the doctor that called in,
The CEO
called in for
Hydro One beverages.
Yeah, called in the information, because this information is real, especially within our community. It's funny that the number that he gave was 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men, and that's crazy because we are also the most religious race there is, and so that's a disconnect to me.
Right.
That we could be so religious, but yet we're not taking ownership of our body.
Right. And this is what this whole interaction, this peer education that we have going on, is discussion is about, is to encourage you to empower yourself, and take account of what you do, your actions, and therefore taking responsibility
Right.
of your health.
Exactly.
Instead of forfeiting it for profit,
Right.
somebody else's.
Right.
And so that's what we're stressing today, and that's what anytime that we do this, we're giving you information to equip yourself. I want to give some books.
Go ahead.
Some that references that I used as far as So what really kind of got me started on this whole sugar binge research was Grain Brain by Dr. David. I hope I say this right. Perlmutter. It's Perlmutter. He is excellent as far as I think he he is a doctor, and he has studied gluten and sugar and its effects on the brain.
Okay.
And so he has a few other books about, but this is the one that is called Grain Brain, and it talks about what gluten, what sugar, and what salts are doing to basically your brain.
Right.
The Case Against Sugar, Gary Taubes, I think I said that right, Taubes, that's done extensive research on sugar effects. He also has a book called Why We Are Fat. It's a really, really good book. The Food Mood Connection by Dr. Gary Null is another one.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Null. He is a fanatic when it comes to health. The Healing Diet by Heather Tick, Tick. The Sugar Solution by the editors of Prevention Magazine, and Gut by Julia Enders, Enders. And I want you guys to go out and look. Some of these references, if you find one, you'll find a whole lot more.
Right.
And find something that appeals to you, that kind of stands out for you, and just look into it, and you will be surprised at how you can help yourself.
Exactly.
Because you'll just read something like, hey, I think I can do this, and I think I can do this, and that's all it takes. It's just one step at a time.
Exactly. So what would you recommend for the listeners to do? You gave them the references, but if they say, you know what, based on what we're telling today, based on what the CEO said, they want to take that initial step, what would you recommend?
The initial step. Okay, the initial step. Let's get away from the pink packets. That's step number one. I can't stress that.
What about the yellow packets and the blue packets?
None of it is good.
Okay.
It's all science made in a lab. So we want to go for the foods with low glycemic index: your avocados, your lentils, your legumes, your sweet potatoes.
Right.
Your peas. I mean,
if you're going to do fruits, you want to try to stay more towards the berries.
Yeah. I mean, you can have no more than 50 grams. So it's like 6 bananas. I think it's 6 apples. I mean, who eats 6 bananas in one day? That's a lot. So, I mean, that will be in fructose overload, the natural way. Mm-hmm. So it's about 50 grams. I know it's 6 apples. I know it's 6 bananas. What else did they say? 5 pears. Pears is another one. Oh, what also you would want to do is eat fiber with your carbohydrates.
Right.
So fiber is going to slow down the absorption. It's going to give your body time and give the cells time to get that fuel, and that's how you stay full longer, and you don't snack as much. So the foods that are, and you could just look up foods with low GI, that's glycemic index, and it's berries, like you said, the avocados, the black beans, and things of this nature. So you want to include more of this into your diet.
Right.
Put this on your plate. You can do 1 meal a day.
So that's all you got to start.
Maybe 3 times a week. And just commit to yourself. Make that connection. I'm taking berries for antioxidants. Put purpose on your plate.
Right.
And that's would be the first step, is to just read the labels. How about that? First step, read the labels. Oh, go into your cabinet and just read the labels. Maybe that's a scary task. Is that a scary task? Is that daunting?
You picking them to do something they might not want to do.
But it's in your house.
It is.
So, you should read, when you go to the grocery store, just think twice about getting that fruit snack. And let me tell you, it's another good book out here. It's called Combat Ready Kitchen. Excuse me because I don't know the name of the author. It's a young lady. She has done a lot of research, and she found out that these gelatin snacks are usually older than the children that are eating them. Like, by the time they get to the shelf, these things are at least like 2 years old.
Wow.
Like, because, I mean, the military has something. That's why it says combat ready. Because the military makes the preservatives. They're the only ones who have the money to research and actually test these things out. So they do a lot of the packaging that you see in your grocery stores are made by the military. So we want to be just gotta be aware. Health food stores. Let's name some health food stores that they can go to.
Like, is it in the Atlanta area?
Yes, Rainbow
Nice.
Natural Foods.
Right. Seven under.
Seven Nanda. Look for good nutrition.
Yep.
Who's in the West End? Helpful Essence.
Mm-hmm. Healthful Essence.
Helpful Essence is in the West End. Who else? If you know any more, like we might try to post some more health food stores. The farmers market, you got to be careful at these farmers markets. Don't just go into the farmers market thinking in Whole Foods and thinking that everything is organic. It's not.
Right.
If it's not
Right.
labeled like that, it's not.
Right.
And the other thing with organic is, just a tidbit, because I'm going to address this in later on shows too, is that the thing about organic is the soil, right?
Mhm.
So nutrients. You want nutrient-dense soil.
Right.
Because you want a nutrient-dense gut. So the condition of the soil affects the condition of your gut.
Mm-hmm.
And with the sugar in your gut, it invites intestinal yeast, candida,
Right.
which makes you more susceptible to infections and more allergy issues. Candida is a real problem.
It's
Like
a major
that-
issue.
Yeah, it's a major issue. And you're inviting it with the high sugar diet. I mean, it's the gift that keeps giving.
Right.
It just goes on and on.
Right.
From the liver to the pancreas to the bladder and now into your intestines. And I don't think that a lot of people realize that 70% of your immune system is in your small intestine. So you're depressing your immune system at the same time, which is what will make you more susceptible to infections.
Okay. So, did you have a video that you wanted?
Do we have it? Okay.
And can you, like, as she getting it ready, what can you give me an idea what the video is going to be about?
The video is basically just a breakdown of what we talked about. It's a lady talking about what exactly sugar is doing to your body, and she talks about metabolic syndrome
Okay.
and what metabolic syndrome is.
All right.
And we'll touch upon insulin resistance
Mhm.
and diabetes as well in the video.
Hmm?
Did you send it?
I'll send it to you. On Facebook. Okay.
So, yeah, this is what this video is about. And just stay tuned with us. How can they reach you, Kevin? They know how to reach you?
They can reach me on Facebook at Kevin Thornton or on my business page, The Wellness Architect. They can reach me on Twitter at Mr. Kevin Thornton. And on Instagram, it is The Wellness Architect. Reach out to me. Send me any direct message me, any questions you may have. If you want to know anything about detoxing, meal planning for a low glycemic, where I could do that for you as well. So just let me know. And what about you, Ms. Erica? How can I reach you?
I am at Pretty Witty on Instagram, at Pretty PrettyWitty. It's Pretty with Witty with two Y's. I'm also on Twitter as well. Did I say that?
You didn't say the Twitter.
Okay, Twitter is at EMCLUV.
Okay. And we're known as. Okay. Here we go. All right. Yep.
It's interesting. When we design our studies, we provide diets that are high in starch, and then we take away that starch and replaced it with sugar. Why do we even see such unfavorable effects when we replace pasta, or let's say bread, with a fructose sweetened beverage, or let's even say a high fructose corn syrup sweetened beverage? Well, to answer that question, we're going to start first with the glucose. All the grains that we eat and we call carbs are pretty much pure glucose. And it goes into our bloodstream slowly, because it takes a while for those enzymes in the intestine to break it all down. The glucose leaves the intestine in what we call the portal vein, and that vein's first stop is the liver. If the liver needs energy, that liver is going to pull the glucose in. If the liver has enough energy, most of the glucose bypasses the liver and is delivered to the rest of the body. It gets to be used by any other place in the body that needs glucose. Now with fructose, it's different. We're talking about fructose in the fructose sweetened beverages our subjects consumed, but we're also talking about the fructose in sodas because high fructose corn syrup contains fructose. So fructose is in the intestine and it too is delivered directly to the liver. However, there's an enzyme there that's always turned on. So it takes any fructose it can get its hands on, even if the liver has enough energy. Very little fructose gets delivered to the rest of the body. So what we end up is this fructose overload in the liver. It needs to start storing it as fat. When you increase your levels of liver fat, you're going to have more fat heading out into the blood. With more fat heading out in the blood, you end up with higher levels of triglyceride and cholesterol, both of them risk factors for cardiovascular disease. There's another problem. We believe liver fat decreases insulin's ability to do its job. That increases our risk of diabetes. There's another problem. When your insulin isn't working well, it also causes more fructose to be turned into fat. And it also is going to increase the amount of fat that liver sends into the blood. There's another problem. This group that consumed fructose tended to gain that weight within the abdominal cavity. This is what we call visceral fat that makes us apple-shaped. So what we have is this vicious cycle going on. That's really why metabolic syndrome tends to be a group of problems. They make this little vicious cycle where one makes the other worse, and they just go around in this circle. But what we all need to do is get to the point where sugar is a special occasion food. It's not a staple. And that's where we need to think about our foods and what they can be doing to our health.
Are you wondering how much sugar you're eating? Click on this video to find out, and be sure to subscribe to Figure 1.
Wow.
That was very informative.
It was informative. Metabolic syndrome. They talk about insulin resistance, but they don't really go into. That's why you have to go and do your research,
Right.
because Google is not everything.
No, it's not.
A lot of times these pages, Google pages, are just copying each other.
Yeah.
So there's nothing really new. You know, you go through the first 10 pages and they're literally saying the same thing the first page said. So that's why you have to go out and research to your health stores. If there's a bookstore left somewhere near you,
Right.
you want to go there, look at some health magazines. I get a lot of information from health magazines. They're free at the health food stores.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to kind of look out for that, and just do your research.
Exactly. Everything.
Okay.
You're doing good, man. You're doing good. So you said the first step for them that you would recommend is to one meal at a time, right?
Yeah, take it one meal at a time. This could be overwhelming. It can, especially if you've never done it before.
Right.
So, but a change starts with one step.
Yeah. One meal, she's selling one meal at a time with a low glycemic index foods.
Or just, if you're going to dilute it, cover your plate. I think they said cover most of your plate with greens, with your low glycemic index foods.
Right.
And then have you, something exciting on the side.
Right.
If that's, you know what I'm saying, just to get that, because usually 3 bites of something, the taste of it or the craving for it goes away.
Right. And my challenge to you guys would be to choose one meal a day to be completely vegan. I know a lot of times we get so programmed
To
talk
think we have
about
meat
the
without
meat
food,
because we
yeah.
need the protein, but there's a lot of different things you can eat that are vegetables or lentils or legumes that will give you the same amount of protein that you would need.
Right.
And but doing that one vegan meal a day will help your body rest some because you're not
Yeah,
not
yeah. Well,
over.
it's not you're overbearing your digestive system.
Exactly.
Another thing that you said something about having the meat, and it stays in your digestive system for almost 4 days.
Yeah. Depending on what kind of meat.
Depending on what kind of meat
Yeah.
is it. So it's anywhere from 3 to 4 days. Your plants will be with you anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. So you don't want to overwork your
Exactly.
digestion. And let me say this about the proteins. The thing about proteins is that plants are really the only organism on the planet that can that really produces protein.
Right.
They take the amino acids, and the amino acids they have, they're the only organisms that's able to take sunlight and turn it into proteins. So when you're eating proteins from animals, you're actually eating it secondhand.
Right.
Because most of the animals that you eat are vegan.
Are vegan.
So they get their protein from the plants.
Right.
You're getting your protein secondhand from them.
Right.
And God knows what other else is, I mean, we're not gonna say, just be moderation, be mindful.
Right.
Like Kevin said, every meal doesn't have to have a piece of meat on it.
Exactly.
Because it does stay with you a long time.
A long time. And I'll give you an example without being too graphic. I remember I have a friend in Detroit who has a wellness center, and I got my very first colonic. And my mindset was, I go to the bathroom 2-3 times a day.
Right. A lot of people think that. They think that if they're regular, that they don't need a detox.
I am good. You see, I thought I was good, right? And I went and had my detox, and he was so good. He knew what I ate. When he saw the feces coming out, he knew what I ate. He knew I had greens. He knew I had a burger, all this kind of stuff. And then he was massaging, because your intestines go all the way up to like your rib cage. So he massaged all the way up there, and you could hear stuff popping. And when you see it stuff popping, you can see it come out the thing. You see feces that's been sitting there forever, and it's like pitch black and all this.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
it has mold on it too.
Exactly. And it was crazy because, like I said, my mindset was that I go to the bathroom 2-3 times a day, and I end up losing 10 pounds.
Wow.
Because I still had 10 pounds of feces in us. And so it's, so even the most regular person, you still have between 5 and 40.
Yeah. I mean, the average person gets 5 pounds of sugar a month.
Exactly.
That's a lot. So, I mean, its residue is serious. Because it's leaving residue. That meat is leaving residue.
It is.
It's putrefying, and your body is hot, right? And it's a perfect environment for terrible bacteria, which infections love, viruses love.
If I may,
Ma'am.
I just need to jump in real quick.
Okay, of course, please.
He was talking about meat, but so more recently, I haven't had red meat since January, like the beginning of January. It started out with like a fast with my church, and it was great. So it was just fruits and vegetables.
Right.
So I just decided I don't want the red meat in it at all. So more recently, I was on my way home about 2 weeks ago. I don't even know how long, but anyway, I decided I'm gonna get me a cheeseburger. I ate this cheeseburger. I was up all night.
Sick, wouldn't you? You was sick.
No, I felt fine, but I just felt wired, and my stomach kept making this weird noise.
Yeah.
So I just felt like, okay, well, I'm just gonna work. And you might have seen my Facebook post, but I was just like, I'm just gonna get some work done. Normally, I have this off the wall sleeping habits, but I could not sleep. It's like this cow was chasing me. But I didn't feel bad until the next day. It's
Right.
just like I'm sluggish. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's like
It hit you the next
I
day.
feel like I had a rock in my stomach.
Right.
Yes.
Help
It's
me
so
kinda
heavy.
thing, yeah.
It is heavy.
Right.
So I went back to these vegetables and all water, and I got my body back together. I'm done. Like I'm
Right.
good. It
Because-
was delicious, but forget it.
And
I don't need
I
it.
would do the same thing. I would do Lent. I would give up. My goal was every year was to give up red meat for Lent. And when I gave up the red meat for those 40 days, and I decided, okay, my first day off of Lent, I'm gonna get me a burger.
It's not
And
the same.
It's not the same. My stomach was messed up.
Yeah,
you know.
I went a year without red meat, and I have not been able to like I can't really digest it. Like once you go off of something, your digestive system is done with it.
Right.
So I went a year without dairy, without all type of sugary drinks, fruit drinks, and stuff like that. And my digestive system, this was 15, 16, 17 years ago, and my digestive system is still not the same. It's still once you leave that, you're not. You know, people say, "Well, you could afford it." No, I can't because my digestive system will. Oh, it'll be like she said, it'll be heavy. You notice the difference. Just like once you get off of sugar for a while, and you drink something or you eat something that it might not even look like it has a lot of sugar in it, and you'll eat it and immediately you're like, oof.
Because I did that before too. I gave up sugar for Lent, and it's so addictive. Like the first 3 or 4 days,
You're irritated.
I was irritated. I was going through withdrawals. I was having
The
headaches.
food mood connection. It's a real connection.
Yeah, I was having headaches and all that kind of stuff, and it was like crucial. It's like to the point that I just want to forget it and just give me something sweet so I could just get past it. But I pushed through, and then
How were you able to push through that though?
You know what? I think after the first four days was like the hardest part, and I just had to deal with it. I just
Because that almost sounds like nicotine withdrawal.
it was that bad.
Like, caffeine withdrawal. I went
It
through one.
was-
I thought I was gonna lose. I thought I was losing it. Like caffeine
it was-
withdrawal that withdrawal is real.
It's that bad.
We're here to say that you should just do. It's easier said than done.
It's easier said
and
than
it takes,
done.
like I said, it took years. It takes years to get.
And
to
I
that
made it
point.
through. I made it through the 40 days. It was hard. That was like the most accomplished one I did for Lent because I got used to doing the red meat, but that one was like that took my greatest sacrifice.
Literally, how did you get through it?
Man, I did a lot of prayer because it was hard because I was tempted and I love candy. That's my vice.
Yeah.
And so it was like I couldn't have no candy, so it was just making me irritable. But once I got past like day 4 or 5, it got easier for me.
Yeah.
But then the thing was, once I got off of Lent and I had something that, whether it was like a piece of gum, something with sugar in it, it instantly gave me a headache because my body was so clean during those 40 days that sugar, it didn't know what to do with that sugar. I just instantly got a headache. So it really made me realize I got to really cut down on how much sugar I take in.
So did you just not go down the aisles? Did you not go to the stores? Did you have your food prepared?
I had my food prepared. I had to be very disciplined.
Could you not hang around certain people?
No, I didn't hang out with none of my friends because I was not going drinking or none of that stuff during that time because I didn't want. Because in my journey for that Lent, I couldn't drink either because I was still turning sugar. So I was trying to keep completely clean. So I told all my friends at that time, you won't see me for 40 days because I know that I'm not going to go to the bar
and not drink.
And not drink.
Right.
So, you have to know who you are and what you
Yeah,
can do.
yeah.
So I just did not put myself in that kind of predicament. So I had to be very disciplined. So I went grocery shopping. I really food prepped. So I won't have no excuse, because once I, you know, and once I get the food prep down, the hardest part for me, Erica, to be honest, is when I went to the gas stations. If I had to go to the gas station and get some gas,
You gotta walk past those chips.
I
You gotta walk past
those
that
chips.
candy.
I gotta walk past that candy. You know, and then when I was working during that time, I was working in corporate, so it was people who had, you know, little candy dishes, and they would have different stuff in there. So
And
I
that's
just had to
another
stay-
thing
I had to
too.
stay
You know,
away.
with the candy dishes, it's funny because sugar feeds cancer cells.
Exactly.
They thrive off of sugar. So when you go into these, what do they call them? Chemo shops, chemo salons. They call them salons, right? And there's candy everywhere
Yep.
in these facilities.
Yeah.
And what I want to also say, that's why I asked you certain questions about did you avoid the stores and stuff, because your environment has
Everything.
a greater effect
Yeah.
on your decisions
And what you do.
than actually your willpower. It has more influence. So
And-
when you want to avoid certain foods or whatever, you gotta maintain your environment. You gotta
And
be
you
mindful.
know, and I've told this to a couple clients who had cancer, and I told them they had to really cut the sugar out,
because it craves it. It craves it bad. It's a serious craving.
Yeah, you have the serious craving, but I told them you have to understand, you craving it because of the chemotherapy, all this kind of stuff. But what you don't want to do is eat the candy or eat sugar, drink the alcohol or whatever it is, because that sugar is going to, the cancer cells feed off of that, so you can't have it at all. And one of the persons actually, cut back. They went completely vegan, cut the sugar out, and that went to remission. But I guess it's extremely hard for them to maintain that lifestyle.
Yeah, it's that's why I say it takes years. You gotta fall off, get back on, fall off.
You gotta
get
keep
back
doing
on.
it, yeah.
You gotta keep, and you have to keep trying. You have to keep trying because it's by force. It's either by choice or by force. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the doctors, they don't want to see you. You know
Not
what I
at
mean?
all.
I've heard of stories where people have completely reversed their situation, and the oncologist doesn't even want to know what they did. They don't even want to hear it.
Nope.
Because you're
No.
not using my method. I'm not getting paid for that.
Nope. I have a friend, and she's in what we do, and her father, he was overweight. He was on like 8 different medications, and he had cancer, and he went vegan. He cut the sugar out. He juiced a lot, everything like that, and reversed it. Lost 80 pounds off all his medications. So it can be done, and but
That's why I said you got to be a
but,
fanatic about
like you
it.
said, the doctor really didn't want to know what they did, what he did, because that if he knows, then he has to try to do better to recommend it to his patients, and they really don't want to tell the patients because they still, the biggest drug dealer in the world is pharmaceutical companies.
Right. But also, and then you go off and tell your patients. So they go to another doctor and say, well, doctors, so they can't discredit each other.
Right.
Everybody has to be on one accord.
Right.
Which is why your doctor really doesn't. He's not going to encourage. You want a homeopathic doctor? You want a holistic? You know what I mean? That's what type of doctor that you go to. But now it's just pill pushing.
Yep.
It is pill pushing. Anything. And something so complex cannot just have something so simple as a solution. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just no, it doesn't work like that. Nothing in life works like that. So your body is included. The
Exactly.
solution to what the problem that you need to solve, it's a complex issue, and you have to address it in its complexities.
Exactly.
One level at a time.
Exactly. So, what do you think for like the diabetics? 'Cause I do know a lot of people who are struggling with diabetes. What do you recommend?
Like we said, you gotta take it one meal. You gotta be serious. You know what I mean? I think it's about changing your mindset first of all.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I was
Like
hoping
you
you'd say
can
that.
do this. You have to know that. You know what I mean? So if it's, working out, it's like addressing the smaller knots to get to the bigger one. Or if directly coming at an issue is too much, then deal with the stuff around it and find and then eventually it's gonna keep coming up.
Right.
And so once you deal with one thing, then you can start, because when I took my nutritional response test, it came up adrenal fatigue. You start addressing adrenals, then the liver issue came up. You know what I mean? And so then that's where it's like, okay, the sodas. You feel what I'm saying? The high fructose corn syrups. That's, and I go through the shelf in my own cabinet. I'm like, oh man, this stuff is everywhere. And so once you address one issue, then other issues start to come up to be addressed.
Right.
So if it's too much to attack this, then attack something around it.
Right.
So if it's just starting off with, I'm gonna switch over to Jones Soda. I know Jones Soda is, I think they're a soda that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it. Or you could go to I'm gonna look up Hydro 1 Plus, right? And I'm gonna try a package of this.
Right.
I mean, just one thing. That's what I mean for anybody, diabetics, people with hypertension. Put purpose on your plate.
Exactly.
At least one. I said 3 times. Just start off, right? But you have to know that you're doing it for yourself. Like, give yourself a why first. Of all, create your why. Why are you doing this?
And then, I always say this to everybody. You got to ask yourself, do you love yourself enough to do what you need to do to create a healthier lifestyle for yourself? Because it's, your health is you. And you got to change, how you see things, first of all, you got to see how you see food. You use food to fuel your body, eat to live, not live to eat.
But you know what? Okay, so I heard an interview with Sir Richard Branson, and somebody asked him, if you can't get your life together, what's the one thing you recommend? He said, start working out.
Right. Because
once you start working out, then it builds those endorphins. It builds that self-esteem, and it makes you feel like, okay, I can do this. Because once you start working out, then you want to start addressing other things.
Exactly.
So I'm not saying you have to go to a gym.
Right.
I'm saying
go to the park.
I'm saying movement.
Go to the park. You can walk in your neighborhood.
Time in nature also helps produce endorphins.
Right.
It makes you feel good. Depressed. It even, I think touching a tree even lowers blood pressure, like literally. Exactly. So nature's your friend. Movement is your friend. Park in the back of the parking lot.
Exactly.
And walk to the front. Take the steps at work.
If you take the steps, if you at the mall, take the steps up instead of taking the escalator. Try to get as many steps in as possible.
Right.
Because
and then once you start, like I said, once you start doing something, then you'll want to do more.
Right.
And create your why. Why are you doing this?
Exactly.
Do you want to stick around for your grandkids? Do you want to look good at your class reunion? Because then once even if you fall off, right, you'll go back and say, I did it one time. I know I can do it again.
Exactly.
And so that's what it's about. Just creating your life the way you want it.
Right.
And then also when you say, certain habits we picked up from childhood. So I think that we just do things offhand because this is what we grew up with, and we don't even realize that this is a habit. I mean, it's so ingrained.
Right.
That it's subconscious. It's on co-pilot.
And it was funny is that we are so ingrained with how we eat, and the fact that like I have a couple cousins in Indianapolis that pretty much are vegan, and all they eat is like fruits and vegetables. They don't even eat a lot of grains. If they eat grains, it's gonna be more like, or seeds, it's more be like quinoa, something like that. And with that, they're very slim. And it's funny to me that we look at that as a negative.
Right. Absolutely. Tell me about it.
We look at it as a negative. They like, oh, they are super slim. They are fine.
Right.
They eating what they supposed to eat to be their best self. And it's funny that people who say it are the ones that's kind of like overweight. And I think sometimes we a lot of times I think we're fearful of how people are going to see us, instead of being concerned about how we see ourselves.
So you're ashamed to work out or sweat in front of people look ugly at the gym?
Right. That's their mindset. And it's funny, even got the ones that's, like, because they have adopted this mindset, especially us, that men like thicker women, and now women say they like thicker guys. So it's like, okay, do I want to lose weight? Because if I lose weight, that man.
Oh, you're not going to be attractive anymore.
Right.
I mean, people say stuff like, oh, you're so small, or you should gain some weight or whatever, and somebody like it. Somebody gonna like. Somebody want it just the way it is.
Right.
As
long as you like it.
Right. You know what I mean?
Somebody else is gonna like it as well.
But if you feel good,
right,
then you're gonna attract
that person who's gonna like you how you like yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. And and that's one of the things, when I was going through the journey of losing the weight, I had someone say to me, you're losing too much weight, black women like men with some meat in their bones. And I said, the woman I attract is gonna like me how I like myself.
Right.
I said, it's gonna be somebody out there who's gonna like me the size that I am. And they got kind of offended by that.
I mean, when you choose your own path, some people who might not have the chutzpah to do that.
Right.
They can't relate, so
right.
They diminish it or reduce it or relegate it because it's just sometimes people just don't feel like maybe they could do it too.
Right.
And what I know is that if we're sharing the same time and space. If you can do it, I can too.
Exactly.
So and that goes both ways. It could be in a positive direction
or a
negative direction. So you wanna hang in environments where it's moving in a progressively forward direction.
Exactly. And it's hard because a lot of times the essence of the people who you may like or who like to spend time with, a lot of times your connection is based on different things, whether it's based on eating.
Right. So when you do change up that,
right,
you go to those low glycemic foods, your partner might not want to participate.
Nope.
Have you had that a lot with your clients? Where their mates have been in opposition. You think they don't want them to look good for somebody else? Or?
Absolutely.
Is it that simple?
Absolutely. I had one that actually lost a lot of weight. Looked amazing. Her dude did not like it. So he instantly got her pregnant. So she put the weight back on. And she hasn't lost it since then.
Well.
And he's happier because I think a lot of times there is some, we have the insecurities is real, and we have to be able to address those insecurities, because, I think a lot of times it's easier to say I'd rather go for that 5 or that 6. 'Cause I'm not really concerned about a lot of dudes liking that 5 or 6 than for me to go for that 9 or 10.
And see, but I think this is kind of playing into the food mood connection as well, because when you eat a little cleaner, then I think it kind of like the the toxic thoughts or whatever, it affects your thought process.
It does.
It affects your thought because the gut microbiota, hello, this is very important. It affects brain functioning.
It gives you, once you eat cleaner, you get clearer thoughts.
You do.
You get clearer
It's easy to
thoughts.
meditate. It's easy to wake up.
Yes. And it's crazy because as I went through my transition, I've cut down the amount of liquor I take in, all that kind of stuff.
And you can't. And you know what's so crazy? Once you switch up that's why we encourage you to switch it up, because you cannot eat as much as you used. You cannot do as much as you used to, because your body is just it's not having it.
Right. And when you change the essence of who you are, you got the people who liked you because you was that dude or you was that chick
That's true. That's true.
liked to use a drinking buddy.
Right.
So if
that's
you
true.
not-
Or y'all went to the wing spot every Friday.
Right. And so that's not what you do no more. Then do y'all have anything to be in common with anymore? So I think
Yikes.
sometimes people,
I can see now why this would be a big step for people, especially if you're like you're the only one doing it in your family.
exactly. So if I know some people that they be married and they both need to do it.
But one won't do it because of the other one.
Neither one are doing it, but I think one wants to do it, but I think the fear of losing the other person. Because a lot of times when you've been overweight for a certain amount of time and then it clicks in your mindset that you want to do better and be better and you try to lose weight, then your spouse or that boyfriend or whoever, that girlfriend, they want to know why. Well, all of a sudden now you want to lose weight. Who is it? Who is it you looking at? Not me. That's making you want to do this. And that's where the insecurities come. Because we've been fine all these years, and now all of a sudden you want to lose weight.
Do it for the kids.
I say
Do it for the kids, because I mean, like, this is when we talk about when we made the insulin connection, right? And we talk about how it creates all of these issues: hypoglycemia, hypertension, obesity, precursor to diabetes. The longer you have it, the more it wreaks havoc on your organs.
right.
So when I didn't realize how serious this was when people say, "Oh, your sugary drinks and the kids in the schools," and then I go to my sister's graduation and she's 12 years younger than me and I am almost the smallest person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I'm 12, 15 years older than these children. And so to think back when I was in high school, we didn't get a Coke machine until I was almost graduating.
Right.
But I look at the kids now and my heart kind of like, my heart just, it cries a little bit, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, the weight creates so many issues. It's not about the looks. You know what I mean? If you're naturally that size, you know what I mean? Some people are just naturally, everybody's not going to be a 4, everybody's not going to be a 2, and everybody's not supposed to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, what does healthy look like to you? What does healthy look like on you?
Right.
And your definition of healthy is that. It's just your definition. But, I mean, it comes with feeling good. You know what I mean? It comes with wanting to, like you say, to do better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's not going to be with that. And you're just going to have to make some decisions.
You make some decisions and be okay with the transition. What I say, and I hope everybody hears when I say this, that most relationships is purposeful. And the relationships you have, like when I was, partying all the time, the people I was cool with during that time, they fit that purpose of who I was at that moment.
Right.
But once I transitioned to who I am now, they had to fall by the wayside. There's nothing bad about these people, but we just live two different lifestyles.
Right.
And you have to be okay with that and not say, that you're losing friendships. Because they still there, but y'all just not going to be able to see each other all the time like y'all did before because y'all are doing two different things. And what the universe is doing is trying to let you release these people so you can bring in people that's similar to what you're doing.
Right. That's going to help you.
That's going to help you in your journey.
Right. Exactly. Fulfill your purpose.
Right. I know a lot of different stuff, but then I talk to this woman on the phone, and it's stuff that she motivates me to do.
Iron sharpens iron, so it's important that you do have that crowd,
Right.
that pushes you to do forward because they're doing something.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I mean, that's tough.
It is, and I think people, and that's and I always tell people. I had talked to this Asian guy, and he was asking about a wellness coach or a health coach, and I'd say wellness begins within. The food and everything else is secondary to the within, because once you deal within, then it's easier to make better food choices and stuff like that. And I just really believe a lot of times the fear factor of the change.
Yeah, it is crippling.
It's crippling because
It's
you
very
don't want to
crippling.
lose. You don't want to lose friends. You don't want to lose friends. You might not want to lose your girlfriend. You might not want to lose your dude.
I just think people are just scared of the unknown.
It is.
Like, what's gonna happen if I, it's like you know what you're giving up, but you don't know what you're gaining. And so I think that inhibition. I could just say make the first move.
And when you say you're gaining a better quality of life, health wise, sometimes that may not be the Trump that people might want to hear.
Right.
Especially if it's a possibility they might lose that girlfriend or that boyfriend. Am I going to find someone that is going to be going in the same direction as me?
Well, I think that too
health-wise?
contributes. A part of that is how you see yourself. I think a lot of this has to do with how do I really see myself? Because your actions, you could say what you want to say, but it's your actions that really kind of indicate to you, not to anyone else,
Right.
but to you how you see yourself. Like if I really saw myself as worthy,
Right.
What I
And how
do.
you see yourself is how people are going to see you. And you got to understand that. And if you want somebody to see you differently, then you got to see yourself differently.
Because once you challenge that your own self-image issues, I think it kind of like slowly but surely, it eats at you until
Right.
you do something about it.
And I think because the society has made it so it's a thing about being certain sizes and looking a certain kind of way.
I almost forgot about social media, and we're on social media.
Right.
But I just don't understand how so many people. I can understand the young people, but that stuff is not real. This is not like. This is the best of the best. Like, I didn't realize people were taking 20 selfies and picking one. That is crazy.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? But you're like, oh, she looks like this. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. You know what I mean? But it's just, I forgot what an influence that was on people's, eating.
Self-esteem.
Yeah. Well, not just self-esteem, but how they want to look, how they see themselves. And the big booty thing is in.
It's in.
And let me tell you something. I worked at a convenience store, and for a little while, part-time. And everybody who you knew had the Coke bottle bodies, were on canes. They were leaning over their carts. And this is just my own empirical data. Like, this is not a fact, or this is just my observation.
Right.
Is the bigger butts. When you get older, because both my grandmothers had big butts. When you get older, this is no fun to lug around. It is it's
Right.
what once you was your your most favorite asset is now like it's almost, I'm not gonna say it's a liability, but it almost requires it has its own set of issues. And the smaller women I see, they may or may not have a cane, but they are getting around.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I have a cousin who's about 85, and we were walking with her, and she was like going faster than we were. And we were having to keep up with her. You know what I mean? Because she's always maintained her health. You know what I mean? You know, her weight would kind of fluctuate. Who cares? That's what happens when you get older. But she always maintained her health. And the family members who did not are truly struggling. And getting older is not easy.
It's not.
It's not. So this is why you kind of want to get a handle on something. You might not change this year or next year, but you want to start something because it takes a while
Right.
to create this habit. For some people, I know people who just, they're done with it. They do it overnight. They stick to it. That is that type of person. But for most people, it takes a while. Like I said, it takes falling off, getting back on, falling off, getting back on.
Because you gotta understand, especially if you're overweight, I know a lot of people who got all the weight affect their knees and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, it wears your bones out.
It wears your bones out, and they search for the doctors gonna give them the answer they want to hear. And the most doctors that are true to what they do, the first thing they're gonna tell them is they need to lose weight.
Yeah.
That's not, a lot of times that's not what they want to hear. They just want you to go ahead and fix it.
Right.
Without them having to do any work. They want to still be who they are. They want to eat what they want to eat, do what they want to do, but they just want they fix that knee. But they, if they go ahead and did what you want them to, and fix that knee, it's still gonna be a problem.
Yeah, because of the weight.
Because of the weight.
And that, to me, again, that's a self that you have to challenge how you see yourself. Because am I worth that work? If you think you're worth that work, you're gonna put in that work.
Right.
Are your children worth that work?
Exactly.
If you have grandchildren, are they worth it? Something is worth it. Something is gonna find your why. Find that why that's gonna encourage you to make a move. I mean, it has to be greater than yourself.
Right. So we at 8:50. So you was concerned.
I was concerned about the 2 hours.
But like I said, when you and I get together, it's gonna be easy conversation. Once we got through the main stuff that we want to get through, just having a conversation about the health in general, we could talk forever.
Yeah,
about that.
me and Kevin go on and on on about it.
Because we both are very passionate about the health. We're both very passionate about
seeing our community
be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the kids. I mean, it's getting out of control, and I'm concerned about what the issues that they're going to be dealing with in the next 20 years.
So
it's not so much now; it's in 20 years from now.
Exactly. So what I want you to do, once again, tell everybody how they can find you on social media and stuff like that, and give your parting thoughts. Whatever you want to say, it don't got to be about sugar. It could be about whatever is on your spirit at this moment.
I want to thank everyone who has joined in. I want to thank Hydro One Plus for calling in. We look forward to working with you. You can reach me I have a funny name on Facebook. It's Arika Daniels, Daniels on Facebook. I am at Pretty Witty on Instagram, Pretty with an I, Witty with 2 Y's, and at EMCLUV on Twitter. If you would like to contact me, that's cool. Hit me up, ask me, give me references if you want to see us talk about something, address a certain health issue, or it could be anything that is related to holistic care.
Right.
Spiritual, emotional. I want to kind of get somebody on here that can help us with our organizational skills, because clearing out the clutter is also
part of wellness.
Yeah, it's a part of wellness, and I have a real problem with that. So
before I let you do your part of thought, I want to know we are going to do something with every month. So so you're going to see her face every month with me. So what I want, like you said, hit me up or hit her up with any topics that you want to address.
Any questions? If you want to know about any
questions.
resources,
Right. You know,
if we don't have, if I don't have, I would definitely find that or look that.
But
I'll
we-
put you in the right direction.
our whole intent is to inspire, educate, empower you guys to be the best version of you. So we can't help you be your best if we don't know what you need or you struggling with.
That's true.
Information for.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
So let us reach out to us, reach out to Erica, and say, you know, Erica, I enjoyed your show with Kevin. Can you talk about this next time? She's gonna call me and she's gonna tell me what she got the feedback was, what somebody said, and we're gonna make it happen. So that's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
But whatever you want to tell these folks.
No, just live your life with purpose. Do things that are gonna make you happy, and hang out with people who add value to your life. Because it is they say we only have one, but just live the one you have right now.
Right.
and challenge how you see yourself, because it's controlling a lot of your decision making and your
Right.
risk taking.
Thank you, man. And so once again, I want to thank Hydro One Plus for calling in.
Absolutely.
I saw you on the comments section, so I will be reaching out to you, and I'll have Erica reach out to you as well, so we could touch bases with you and
Get those samples so
get
we can
those
try it out
samples.
and tell you how it is.
How
I'm gonna
it
give you
is,
an
and we-
honest review.
Exactly, and we'll try to get you, or I'll also, because I follow Dr.
Okay.
Braxton
Okay.
Cosby, so I can reach out to him as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, and see if we can have him come on. Look at that. Let's look how we
at God.
attracts to us.
Just working up and through this
Exactly.
thing.
So, but what I want to say is, live your life purposely, but also intentionally. You know, your question to yourself is, what is my intention on everything I do? You know, and so if you walk in with intentions and you walk with purpose, then nothing but great things can always happen to you. So you know, make your purpose to live the healthiest version you can.
One meal at a time.
One meal at a time, you know, and don't be concerned or won't be worried about being the judgment of others, because you're trying to be your best version yourself. The only person you should be concerned about is how you make yourself feel. And when those who have a problem with you trying to be better, then those people are no longer for you. And you need to try to attract those who's going to accept and love you for who you are and not what they want you to be. So with that being said, you have tuned in to the Wellness Architect with my homie Erica Daniels.
Thank you for inviting me.
And we'll see you again next month. Well, you'll see me next week. You'll see her next month. If I don't see you next week for holidays, have a happy Labor Day weekend. Be great, be you, be authentic, and we are out. Peace.
Next time.